morning, and welcome to 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early AF at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, and 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Today, we're talking about the moment and productivity. What is the connection between the moment and productivity? How can you utilize, make most use of, take advantage of, leverage the moment for your benefit, for the benefit of those you love, care about. Go to productivethroughjoy.com, see about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. Have me come out speak to your group, school, or organization. All right, let's dive into the topic. On the morning show, before we dive deeply into the topic, we like to also speak about the import of framing your day before your day has a chance to frame you. At times, we find ourselves waking up with trouble on our mind. At times, that trouble has a way of following us throughout our day, and before we know it, we have had a couple of days back to back with trouble on our mind, waking up, having a day, going to sleep with that same trouble on our mind, doing it all over again. And the impact of that is it has a way of impacting um, in the collective sense, our collective levels of stress. It is so true that for not just millennials, but people across the country, there's an era of anxiousness and anxiety that is probably unparalleled at least in the history of this country. But certainly I see it as a professor amongst folks from millennials. There's a level of anxiety that shouldn't have to be shouldn't be a part of the lives of individuals who are so young. But that, of course, is simply a manifestation, a reflection of their parents, of our parents, of those who are older in their lives who are also stressed the hell out. But as we know from as we know from modern science, stress is a killer. When your body is being impacted by the stress of your life, your body also releases endorphins, or not endorphins, but releases chemicals that are toxic. And those chemicals have a way of impacting our life by creating all types of manner of physical disease, especially heart disease, which is why, as you may know, black and brown folks, black men in particular, have an extraordinary rate of hypertension and, as a result, heart attacks, because our bodies are stressed out. Right? So we like to really speak about this topic, about framing your day before your day has a chance to frame you. So let me sidebar that for a second to give you, for those of you who are new to the show, to give you a brief history, a brief background about me. If you are new to the show, this is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. I'm the author of the New York Times bestseller Raising Fences, which was a Today Show book of the month. Picked up books. Film rights were optioned by the actor Will Smith, whose People Called My People, and I eventually agreed to write the screenplay for that particular project. I'm also the author. I should say that book is also set 13 miles. That's Raising Fences. I'm also the author of the acclaimed historical novel Americas, which is set 13 miles from Ferguson, where Michael Brown was murdered. As we know, we just went through another anniversary of sorts of that murder. First off, shouts out to Michael Brown's parents, his family, friends, and relations. Bless that family. And this book interrogates the intersection of race and violence in America. As we know, the Michael Brown story is one particular story in a long chain of stories of black folk being accosted by the state security apparatus and killed for walking down the street, for carrying Skittles, for walking, driving, sleeping, thinking, barbecuing while black. All right, so this book in a creative way interrogates that. It tells the story of identical twin sons, one of whom gets vitiligo, the Michael Jackson disease, the so-called Michael Jackson disease, where individuals lose their pigmentation in splotches. And this book really kind of examines the impact of this situation on this family. So look for that in bookstores everywhere. I'm currently on my book tour. I'll be at the California Book Club conference here in September on the 22nd. Look for that. Here in the media, I'll be on October the 4th. I'll be at the great bookstore downtown LA, the last bookstore, which is a great independent bookstore here in California. Then I'll be October the 9th at Pasadena City College. I'm coming to a town near you. I'm sure look for me in media and social media. All right. And so let's return to this idea of your day, of framing your day. So let me give you my brief morning ritual to serve as an exemplar. So we help individuals deal with the stressors of life by framing, by creating, helping them create a morning ritual, a thing they can rely upon to deal in a very practical way with their stress, with the problems that arise in our lives. Um, Now, listen, we are proponents of therapy. If you need that, that's fine. Of other types of modalities to help one um, deal with the stressors of life. But we also know the power of the physician healing thyself. If you can have a methodology to also work on yourself, to do this daily ritualized way of healing the self, it's extremely empowering. It's definitely great to get therapy. It's great at times if you need medication. That's also fine. And there's an extraordinary power in being able to do something to heal yourself. Very powerful. So let me give you my brief morning ritual to serve as an exemplar. So in the mornings I'll wake up, including this morning, hella early, at 3:30 a.m. I read a couple of spiritual business books. I do our show right now at 4:45 a.m. At 5 I'll work on my current book um, until sunrise. And at sunrise I go out to the beach. I meditate, pray, do yoga. Um, I live along the coast here in Venice Beach, California, so I bring my drum, for example. Just a beautiful time early in the morning. Then I come back and work on my current book for a while longer, then go back to the beach to run up the coast all the way past Santa Monica's Pier, up the steps there, run all the way back here to Venice to go to my gym, go to the gym to get my buff on. Guys, by 10:30 I'm feeling amazing. My body is being flooded with endorphins, and that endorphin release gives me a sense of euphoria that I can then leverage to move myself towards my goals and objectives. Now, we're not saying do what I do, we're saying do what you do. We help individuals do just that thing. Do what they do. Do what you do when you do what you do when you do what you do. All right, go to productivethroughjoy.com. See about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. Holla. Let's dive into the topic. So today we're talking about the moment, all right, and how that can impact one's productivity. So point one is that you want to recognize the moment. There was a great, if you know college basketball, there was, during the college basketball championships, they had a theme song for each championship. And one year the theme song was by Kenny Loggins. The song is called This Is It. Make no mistake, we want the waiting. It's a really great song about this is it. This is your moment. You have to do it. And so part of our job is recognizing when the moment is upon you. That's job one. All right, job two is that when you know, okay, this is serious, this is a moment, this is going to be a make or break time for me. Right? Now you can either run from it, you can medicate from it, you can pretend it's not your moment and then deal with the consequences, or you can decide to own it, right? To own that moment. So like say, okay, this is what I am. As I come through this with victory, I'm going to have victory for myself, my family. If I fail, it's going to be bad. No choice about it. And so just confronting that, keeping it real with yourself. You can lie to other people, but don't lie to yourself. You should lie to anyone, of course, but if you're going to lie, don't lie to yourself. And so being able to say, hey, this is a life-changing moment. And when you are able to just confront that reality, then you want to be able to own it, to go full bore. And how do you own the moment, which is point three? You want to be prepared to own the moment, which goes back to our point about having a ritual, right? Having a spiritual practice. You can call it energetic practice. You can call it whatever, as long as you do it. A thing that you can do every single day to give you that power, because life's going to happen good and not so good. But if you can have a thing that you can rely upon that's consistent, that you create yourself, that gives you a certain type of confidence that you're going to need to be in the moment. Because when you're facing one of those crisis moment, at times you're going to feel sad, down, frustrated, afraid, and being able to have a thing that you can rely upon is, you got to have it, or you will just crumble like a crumb cake. All right, so boom goes the dynamite. That's it for today's show. Thanks for being here. We air each weekday morning, hella early AF at 4:45 a.m. Here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, then at 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Go to productivethroughjoy.com. See about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. We got something for you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you, this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Again, look for me on the book tour for Americas. And yeah, that's it for this morning. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.